What's up, Exotics fam? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're showing a how-to for isopods for bioactive enclosures, so stick around and let's get into it. So as I said, today we're going to be showing you guys how to care for isopods, but before we get into that, let me explain to you what isopods are a little bit and why you would want them. So we've got springtails and powder blue isopods here, and they're great. They sit in the bottom of the enclosure and they eat all the poop, leftover food, and just make your terrarium an overall more healthy, more active system. So this enclosure that we're using for the isopods now, we're trying to keep it a little more size relative with the smaller cultures so that it's easier for them to find each other and breed. And we're gonna keep them in here for now until they get bigger, and then you need to rehouse them. Next, we're gonna talk about soil. This soil that we're using now is our own mix called the Idiotic compound, and it's got soil, leaf litter, sphagnum moss, sand, carbon, and cocoa fiber. And it's just great for holding humidity, so your isopods are nice and happy and ready to breed. Another thing we like to do is top off the soil with a layer of leaves, and what this does is it helps hold humidity under in the substrate so that the humidity doesn't escape and all go up because heat rises. So you got to keep it under the leaves so that it's nice and humid for the isopods to be nice and happy and again breed faster. So the next thing you need to do, one of the most important steps and the final step before you add your isopods, you need to make sure you put a hide in there because the isopods are all going to hang out under here. If you've ever seen The Lion King, when Pumbaa and Timon are going hunting for grubs, pick it up, pull out the grubs and eat them, but instead of us eating them, we're going to put them in our new enclosures for tarantulas and etc. Now, another important aspect of isopods that I've talked about all the time, humidity. So you need to make sure this is all thoroughly misted so that it will hold humidity well for all your isopods. So now we're ready to add our isopods. We got these powder blue isopods from roachandwormsdepot.com. And just add them, make sure you pick up the paper towel, open it nice and flat, make sure there's nothing in there. Or a couple, so I'm just gonna set this down. And just show, there's a lot more than I thought. Just kinda brush them in. Oh, not that way, buddy. This is a lot more difficult, or this is a lot easier than I'm making it look. I'm not doing this the right way at all. Oh, there you go. Come on. Oh, you. Okay, only a couple more, looks like. Is he in there? Okay. Last one. Yep, last one. Stop. Oh, well, not the last one because you got this. Kind of dump all that in there. That's all of them. So next we're gonna add some springtails. And the reasons we love to add these little guys to our isopod cultures, even though they're not quite isopods themselves, is because any high humidity environment you have has a very high chance for mold. And these eat mold. They get rid of it completely. And also with high humidity, you can get a chance at these little gnats that will develop, and the springtails will eat the eggs of those gnats. Now, when you're adding the springtails, you gotta be a little careful because in the cultures you pick up, sometimes you'll get a little bit of water, so you gotta make sure you dump some of that water in there because the springtails are so tiny, they will get mixed up in there. So I'm just gonna dump all that in there at once. That's probably enough. Boom. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you want to see more videos centered on all things exotic, including reptiles, amphibians, inverts, saltwater fish, and more, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, and if you want to support our channel even further, there will be a link to the Patreon in the description. And if you join the Patreon, you'll have a chance to win free merch and be able to vote on what exotic animals we get next. And you can also go to the merch store, all in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.